Hey everyone, I just wanted to come on today and just talk to you guys a little bit about scheduling. For those who after school, which is providing some kind of tutoring or instruction, reteaching, where you're helping your kids after they come home from school, after they come home from public school. Whether you do it a few times a week during the school week, or you do it on the weekends or on a school holiday or whatever, I will talk about today what you may want to consider when putting your child's schedule or routine together. When I did this for my son when he was enrolled in public school, I would say from second grade until fourth grade, I actually put together a routine from the time he wakes up in the morning, what his day looks like, which includes going to school, which includes what happens when he comes home from school. May it be going to an extracurricular activity, taking care of his homework, or doing some homeschool after schooling work based on how busy his day was at school. So I will go over, again, some things you may want to consider when coming up with your child's schedule and their routine. So let me flip the camera over and then we'll get started. So for all my awesome home after schooling parents, let's talk about what we can do for our children after school. When I was after schooling, I did a schedule for my son more than I did a routine. His routine was on the weekend because his routine was open, it was free, he did what he wanted, the day just flowed naturally, and we just had activities based on how we felt, or based on what was going on in the city, or based on something I knew about in advance. So our weekends during after schooling was more of a routine. But during the week when he was in school, it was absolutely a schedule. So let's talk about how I did that. So first of all, I created the schedule and then I talked about it with my son to ensure I had buy-in. I wanted to make sure that whatever I was thinking, he agreed to, and I allowed space for him to give me recommendations for changes. Okay. So his schedule. Let's say he woke up at 6 a.m. So 6 a.m., we would have his alarm to wake up, get ready, and eat, have breakfast. Excuse my handwriting and or spelling. And let's say at 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., this was school, public school. So between 7 and 3, he was at public school. During this time, guys, your child or your children, they are not in a mindset of learning that entire time. For our school district, after talking to his teachers when he was enrolled full-time in public school, they told me their day was about 4 hours of actual instruction or learning. The other 3 hours was, their art, music. They go to the library, lunch, playtime, that encompassed the other 3 hours. So for the 4 hours that he was in school, they had blocks based on schedule. So they would have 4 or 5 blocks during that period of time throughout the day. And each of those blocks were 45 to 50 minutes. And during that 45 to 50 minute time frame, the teacher had to instruct a class of 25 to 30. They had to provide examples to ensure the children understood what he or she was trying to teach. They would answer questions. They would also give the children work to do at their desk. So 45 minutes would encompass all that. And that's why in many times your children may not completely understand a topic. That's because the teachers unfortunately don't have sufficient time to give individual attention. or to dive deeper into subjects to ensure the whole class understands, because every student is on a different level and the teacher has a particular schedule to keep and milestones to meet in order to prepare these kids for the end of the year. So if you are preparing them for the end of the year exams, state exams. So if you are after schooling your children, I give much respect and I give you great kudos and praise, because you are taking your child's education into your own hands and you are making sure that your children not only understand what's being taught in school, but you're reteaching and you're providing them tutoring at home to ensure that they meet whatever challenges they have and that they're doing the best that they can in school. So when my son gets home from school, let's say he gets home from school at 3:15. So 3:15 to 3:45, my son is just chilling. He comes home, puts down his book bag, get a snack, and he lays down. He plays a puzzle. He can listen to music, whatever. He's just chilling. Okay? So let's say your child has homework. If your child has school homework, let's say they're doing their school homework from 3:50 to 4:30. So from 3:50 to 4:30, your child is doing their public school homework. So when I say I after school my child, what does that mean? During the time that my child is doing their homework, public school homework, from this time, if I'm home, I am providing assistance. That's after schooling. You're providing your child with some type of assistance with whatever their homework is. If they came home with graded papers and their papers had lots of errors and you wanted to have them corrected, or if they had a test coming up and you wanted to prepare them for it, all that is a part of providing assistance with their homework. So when they're done with their homework, he gets a break, right? After he's done with his homework, let's say I give him a break from 4:30 to 4:45. He has a 15-minute break. Once he's done with his break, let's say we dive into after schooling, some more after schooling. And you can call this homeschooling. I don't care what you call it. Some YouTubers are so specific about the names that it just creates confusion. I don't care if you call it after schooling. I don't really care if you call it homeschooling. The whole point is when they come home from school, you're providing assistance as the parent. So this is where he would do his public school work, and this is where he would do his after schooling. What's the difference? There is none. There is no difference in my opinion. He comes home from school. He has homework. He does his homework. He needs help. I help him. In the after schooling portion, I'm just reinforcing whatever his homework assignments were. If he had graded papers and he had something wrong on those graded papers, we're doing it in this time block. If he has a test and I need to help him prepare for that test or review for that test, we're doing it in this time period. This block I normally reserve for the paperwork that he brings home from his teacher that he has to turn in the next day. I reserve this block for the time period it takes me to reinforce what he did not know. I use this block as a time period to go over what he's going to learn the next day, the next week, the next month, and that all depends on what's going on. If my son is failing math and I see he brings graded papers and there are C's, D's, or F's, guess what? I have to help him with those assignments during his homework time. And during our after schooling block, I'm going to make sure I use my manipulatives. We watch videos. I have resources to reteach what he was taught at school and figure out where the gap is and help close that gap. If there is no gap, and there is no homework, then after schooling is all about challenging, playing games. It can be linked to what they're doing or learning in school currently, or what they will learn in school within the next week or so, or it may be completely unassociated. I may do some Bible, I may do some history, I may do some read alouds with an activity, we may do some painting. After schooling doesn't always have to be linked to what they're learning in school or what their homework is about. Again, it's based on what's going on with your child. It's based on their current needs. It's based on what their current grades look like. It depends on if they need assistance in a particular subject within school. If they don't, they're getting A's and they're getting B's. Hey, make after schooling fun. Challenge them. Do something creative. Find out something they want to learn about and go explore and investigate that. Make after schooling fun for your kids, okay? Even if you are reinforcing, reteaching, or going over something they just don't get at school, make it fun at home. Don't just sit down at the table all the time and just do something over and over again. Figure out some type of visual component that you can bring in. Is there a video that they can watch? Can you make it fun? Can you use some type of tangible resource that you have in home to teach a particular concept? That's what after schooling is all about, guys. So if he doesn't have any homework, this time here, I will use for after schooling. So if he has no homework after he chills, this becomes our after schooling time. And then guess what? I just remove this. So his day is basically short. And that's what it is. So no homework. We do after schooling during this block. During this block, he takes a break and he is free to go after 4:45. If he has homework, then we add the after schooling block, and at 5:15, he's done. He can go about his day. And that's it. So after that, then again, he has his day to do, he has the rest of the day to do whatever he wants. So the rest of the day is straight chilling, having a, oops, I put an I on my H, having a good old time doing whatever he wants to do, as long as it's as long as it is educational, if he's on electronics. For me, during the week, Monday through Thursday, we have in our household, there is 0 non-educational gaming, and there is 0 non-educational television, which also includes, like, you know, your laptops, cells, whatever. Screen time. There is no non-educational screen time Monday through Thursday in our household. On Friday through Sunday, I do allow him to have non-educational screen time. He wants to do roadblocks. He wants to, you know, do, I don't know, some type of video game, or he wants to watch other people on YouTube play video games. I don't know why kids do that. Why do they watch other people on YouTube play their favorite video games? But he finds it to be fascinating, and he sits on the phone with his friends, and they're not even talking on the phone. They're just watching someone play video games on YouTube while he is on his laptop playing the same game. I don't know. Maybe your children do the same thing. But Friday through Sunday, he can, you know, have non-educational gaming, but his limit is 3 hours. He cannot play for more than 3 hours during the day. If he uses that entire 3 hours in one block of time, whatever. If he uses an hour, you know, hour spans throughout the day, I'm cool with that. The whole point is you're not on that non-educational stuff for more than 3 hours on the weekend. However, he can watch television during the day. He can watch whatever he wants as long as it's approved and it's clean and it's appropriate. He can watch whatever he wants as far as TV is concerned. But it's the gaming that I'm more concerned about. It is the gaming, the online surfing, the online stuff that he has limits to. And yes, we monitor anything that's online, anything that has a screen, we monitor. Okay, so let's go back to our schedule. This schedule again is basically during the week, Monday through Thursday. This is our Monday through Thursday schedule. Okay, and then he goes, when he was in 4th grade and he was enrolled in school full time, his bedtime was 8:30. So at 8:30 he had to be in bed. So again, if his day ended at 4:30 because he had no homework, his bedtime was 8:30. If his day ended at 5:15 because he had public school work, and his day ended at 5:15 because we added a block for after schooling, his bedtime was still at 8:30. Now, during the week, we do have activities. So if he had an activity, let's say twice a week, let's say on Monday and Wednesdays, he had an activity. If he had an activity, this is what would happen. When he had an activity, this is how the schedule would change. Wake up, go to school, come home, chill. We do your homework, you take a break, and we had the activity. So whether it was sports, it was chess, it was martial arts, whatever, this would be the block for his activity. So that separate block that I had during the day, one for homework, one for after schooling, the after schooling block became the activity. Okay, so if he had homework during the week, we use this time to do homework, and I would also blend in some after schooling with it. If he did not have homework from public school, then this time would be spent doing after schooling. And again, I discussed that earlier in the video, the difference between the two and how I take control of both of those types of processes. Okay, so that's how we after school. That's why I like a schedule for after schooling. Again, I like a schedule for after schooling, which is having an action, having an event associated with a time, linking a time to an activity. I like a schedule during the school week. I like a schedule during the school week for my son when he was in public school enrolled full time. And on the weekends, we have a routine. I'll put a link in the description box below explaining to you the difference between a schedule and a routine. But I hope this video was of benefit. I hope you learned something new. I hope you found it useful. As always, guys, be blessed. Make it a super fantastic, awesome, great day. Bye.